And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to talk about Attack on Titan Part 2, Episode 76, Judgment. All right. So, if you guys didn't know, I left you guys a surprise. We were on Twitch. We reacted to the full episode. So, the full reaction is available right now. And my two other hosts that are here today, they reacted as well. And so, we're going to go ahead and just go full tilt. If you haven't seen the episode yet, make sure you take this, come back later because we're going to go into full spoilers. We're going to go for roughly 20 minutes, a little bit more. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody. What's going on, Ant? What's up, B?
Hey, what's good? What's good? Got the
Hey,
sun
we in
right
here.
here.
What's up, little man?
The wave.
It's like, hey, world, I'm out here.
Right.
I have also LT himself. What's up, Ty?
What's going on, good people? How y'all doing? Back in the building again, like I never left. Shout
Yes,
out to
sir.
TeamJVS.
Yes, sir. So we're about to dive deep into Attack on Titan. If you guys didn't know, the episode is out and available right now on Funimation. I believe it's coming out tomorrow on Crunchyroll. I can't remember what time. But yeah, episode 76 is called Judgment. So we I think unanimously we enjoyed it. But we're gonna go into all the details of the why. So first off, the way that it started, how did you guys feel about the way it just kind of kicked in?
Started exactly as I expected it to, because the big question we had was what happened after the explosion, and we got to see what happened. So it was basically on a whole other level. I had a feeling. Well, we'll get into the details of all the stuff after, but one of my suspicions with what happened with Zeke came to fruition, but I didn't like the way it played out.
Yeah, man. Like it was jarring, I ain't gonna lie, to straight up see who was it? What's our guy? The Ackerman.
Levi.
Levi, yeah. Like in bad shape. Real bad shape. But I'm still trying to figure out what that whole dynamic was about lying about his status.
So I mean, I think the reality is that we all know that we can't trust Enoch. Enoch, like straight up, beat up an old man to support his superiority, but he also is a follower. Like he figures out who's the fad, and now because Zeke is alive, he's just gonna follow behind him, But I think that the reality is that Hanji knew goodness well that nobody really vibed with Levi, and Levi wasn't gonna take it up for anybody. Like Levi's like, no, this is it, and like you can try to kill me, but you're gonna go down fighting. But I think that she made the right choice because he's pretty messed up. Like she claimed that he succumbed to the wounds, but I was kind of like she just kind of sit there, and I'm pretty sure she was keeping focus on his eyes. Like, yeah, we about to make a run as soon as we get the opportunity. And sure enough, when Zeke kind of came back. By that time, she had already kind of dipped into the water.
Yep.
So it's just going to be a situation where he's going to be pretty badly wounded. But just talking about that, what about Zeke and that situation that happened with Zeke? What do you guys feel about what happened, and what are you guys' theory of who saved him? I have my own thought. I know, Ty, you had something while we were watching. What do you think about what went down and why?
Who do you want to take that? Me or okay, I guess it's me. I I'm still not sure as to who sent that Titan to go get Zeke. I have my suspicion, but I don't want to say it yet because I'm honestly not really sure, and I don't have enough basis for the suspicion. But what I was expecting is that that Titan was sent to help accelerate his Zeke's healing, because I mean Zeke was hit in a bad way, and he basically was going to sacrifice himself. But part of me also thinks he may have even known that was going to happen, because if he knows that without him being with Eren wouldn't be able to fully utilize the powers of the founding Titan. So I think he had some inclination that someone was going to come save him, or a Titan was going to be sent to save him, which is what happened. Accelerated the healing. So I don't think Levi is dead, but if we're just talking about Zeke, yeah, I have my suspicion. I don't want to say it just yet because I want to see how it plays out. But what I was expecting is whoever sent them was to help accelerate the healing to get their process moving, the plan between Aaron and Zeke.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking about is that I think that the original founder, I think it was her doing. We've already suspected that. I forget who it was. The other Ymir that wasn't the original Ymir, where she kind of like woke up in this wasteland area and it almost kind of felt like paradise. It was kind of like, it was really weird. It felt like it was almost like a dream situation. She was kind of just drawn there almost. And I feel like the same exact thing happened because the way that Zeke described it, it was almost as though she was literally putting him back together. And I was kind of like, I've never seen a Titan outside of Zeke instructing him to do it and being in close proximity to do it, just having him do anything like that directly. But I've never also seen one of the Titans being put in somebody's stomach to self-heal. Like all the things that would heal him was just instructively done. And I think it's the Ymir. I think it's the original Ymir doing it. I don't know why, but I do know it has to do with his blood. I think it's all about the process and what has to come. The question is, to me, is whether or not Aaron knows what's happening as well, because Aaron has the ability of seeing what's going on in the future and what is to come and what has been in the past. And I think because of that, that's why he's been going along with a lot of this. And that's why a lot of this, it seems like it's almost like orchestrated in a specific, perfect way. But what did you think, Ant, about the situation with Zeke?
Now I'm actually right there with you in that like we have never seen a Titan act like that. We've never seen like the kind of almost what did they call it? The Black Panther, the ancestral plane kind of place he was
Right.
in, and he described it as like time flying and standing still at the same time. I was like, yo, that's crazy. So my weird thought, like absolutely left thought, was like, can the original Ymir that was apparently putting him together will the Titans to do things?
Right. Like Yoda style, straight up.
Right.
Like you're kind of like, what is really, because we never seen anything like this happen. Like it's always been kind of like there's somebody behind the strings that's orchestrating it, or it's an action. But this was completely unprecedented. But then, all right, so let's go into the action aspect of this. So the last thing that we saw, I don't know if I have pictures of it, I thought I did, is that your boy Aaron was kind of ambushed a little bit by the Jaw Titan because of what Pike did. Pike kind of left us with the situation like, oh, okay, she's saving Gabby. And at the same time, this is all a setup because all the Marlians are coming down to wage war with Raynor and the Jaw Titan. And, you know, Aaron, like a G, gets his legs cut off, but comes right back up ready and willing to swing on anybody to catch the fade. So what did you guys think about the whole war aspect of what's happening here?
Okay, so one of the things that sticks out for me is, and we mentioned this a little bit with the little pre-show we did, but the few from Marley that came over that had Armin and the rest locked up. Remember, he said, when they first came over there, the Paradise folks were basically primitive, and we're starting to see that now because we're seeing that the technology from Marley is so vast that we're seeing Paradise, we're seeing the Wings of Freedom folks, fighting, trying to take down the Titans. They're hiding because of the cart titan carrying basically a ballistic missile, or long cannon, and then for them to turn around and get decimated while they're hiding from that due to shots from cannons off the from big machine guns off the airships. It shows you the level of distance in technology between these two warring factions. And honestly, I think this all goes back to what the founding Titan did when he walled up, Paradise Island. He basically cut them off from the world, and now they're basically paying the price. There are a lot of other factors really into that, but I think that's part of the main thing. And what they're starting to realize is that they are grossly outmatched, and they may even consider getting the Titans or getting Armin and those that are Titans for Paradise to actually fight back against the Marlians.
Like, it seems like everybody has got their own agenda. Like, everybody's trying to win back their freedom, preserve a people's freedom, or willing to give up their lives for some aspect of freedom. But I mean, the people that are really oppressing them are the Marlians, and it's just at the end of the day, that's an unrefutable fact. And when Pike was having that conversation, even with the last episode 75 with Aaron, I felt like there was some truth to it. And even she said to Gabby, she was like, you know what? Yeah, like, I don't really vibe with the Marlians, but I'm down for my people. But it's kind of like, what does that mean? At the end of the day, who are your loyalties lie? Because that conversation that the black dude was having with Armin and Mikasa and them, and he was kind of pleading his case. And I was like, okay, you don't believe in this euthanation situation and getting rid of all the ability for people to reproduce, but who are you actually following? Because now I really don't know where everybody's loyalties really are going to lie. It just puts Armin and Mikasa in the worst position, because now they don't really have a choice. They got to go and try to save Aaron, not just because he's their friend, but he is the best hope for everybody to change ultimately. And I don't know. Ant, you got anything on that?
Well, okay. So this is actually very simply going to get into why I kind of gave it a look like that slight knockdown to 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Like, it's really complex. Like, the political maneuverings and how many, like, it's not even two sides right now. It's almost four. And it makes it a lot to kind of like catch back up to, considering we've been away for a year practically. But yeah, it's like, other than that, like, the episode was absolutely perfect. Like, just like I said before, just building tension and then like actually alleviating the tension, like having payoffs, like several different payoffs within the episode. Like, we got to see development on several different story lanes. But man, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. Like, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what was the motivation of the brother to open the jail and let them out in the first place.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. Because it looks like Yelena, she obviously does not like, what's his name? She doesn't like Levi. She seems like she glorifies Zeke, but then she seems to care about the importance of Aaron. And it's kind of like, I think initially they all said it is like, Yelena put Aaron in a situation that he had to act. But the other side of that is Aaron also knows a lot. And I think that he may be playing on her need for this to happen. It seems like there's a hidden agenda that Aaron is playing at.
Yeah.
And it all started with the fact that Yelena was like, okay, bury yourself in the ground, hide yourself away, and we'll take care of everything. You just hide yourself away. Aaron's like, nah, homie, I'm coming for him. I'm coming for them all. Whoever wants it. Meaning 3 different Titans, weapons that can kill Titans, and a whole other army. And it was a lot of bloodshed. And Eren just stepped out there on his own. And you question whether or not Eren did that to bring out Mikasa and Armin because he knew that was eventually going to be required, or if there's something else going on. And I love that about this show.
I don't even think it's or. I think it's and. I think it's both. I really do. Like Eren always speaks from a place of knowledge that is beyond what the watcher of the show knows.
Yep.
So you can't help but think, and he has been thus far both a master technician and kind of rash. He kind of Jon Snow's things also. So as soon as he knew Reiner was out there, you knew he was going to be out there like, nah, you getting this smoke, this steam and this smoke. But at the same time, there's still more that seems to be sitting just outside of what we can see.
Right. That
will reveal itself. And it's like, that's the intrigue. That's the amazing writing that, like, you can't not watch. Like, it's not even, it's so weird to see an amazingly written anime, not rely on cliffhangers. Right. It relies on the intrigue in the middle of the stuff to say, wait, so what happens to this? And that's why you want to, keep watching.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. So I gave the episode a 10 out of 10, you guys, just for full disclaimer. But it's kind of like, I agree with everything that, Ant said about, like, there's a lot of in-between stuff that just don't know. You don't have the gaps filled in. But for me as a critic, that's what I need in a show. Like, the show has to, like, the fact that it's been since May since we watched this, and I went back and rewatched episode 74, 75, and then it literally on the dot we watched this one. And there were questions even going back from May that I didn't even think about. And I feel like this episode is going to be the same exact thing. It's just I didn't anticipate the action. I didn't anticipate, like, more deep-seated questions and the gaps that need to be filled in. Like, it was 16 episodes. We got 16 episodes to go. And this is now we got 15 more episodes to go. Like, I don't really have a fault because I don't really see a really big negative. I have more questions and there's things I don't understand or I don't comprehend, but I don't really have a negative per se to deduct any points from. It's kind of like that episode that we watched was sometime in between the part 1 where it was a filler when they left Marley and they went back to the island, and it was like these random, like, flashbacks. Like, that was a lot of downtime that I could care less about. But then it picked back up. But this, I don't really have anything negative to say. It gave me everything that I wanted. But at the same time, like you said, like, it doesn't just pick up on the cliffhanger. It's the middle stuff that's so important. But Ty, you got something?
So I'll be honest. I have to actually correct my score. At first, I was honestly kind of thinking, like, Chitty was due to the complexity of it. But I think actually hearing it out loud, I was I was thinking about the complexity of it and the questions and all that. And then in my mind, I'm like, none of this is new. Every season of Attack on Titan, I want to say, except for maybe the beginning of season 2, if I remember correctly, where the Wings of Freedom military person ran into the Beast Titan for the first time, maybe.
Right.
Outside of that, every first episode of every season, every episode of every season has been a big battle, new information, more questions, and usually something gets placed in there that ties into something that they didn't completely finish from the last season. And you're always left with more questions, the more complexity. And so I have to return that 0.5 that I had docked and just say it's a 10 out of 10. The simple fact that they give you exactly what they always give you, and you're left feeling the same way you felt with questions, with oh, this is so complex, what's going on? And still through all of that, you're like, I can't wait for the next episode to see what they do next. Much like Chidi said, it's the story within the intrigue, or the intrigue within the story that's keeping you going, not a cliffhanger. So, so yeah, I got to go back and say it is a 10 out of 10. I think the two big questions I have is, one, why are y'all surprised by this? Because that's really what made me give it back to 0.5, because it gives us everything we've always had. This really isn't anything new. It's just more of it. But the other question I have is, what do you all think the euthanization program? Do you really think it's stopping Eldians from reproducing? Or do you think it's like Zeke's mentor said, that the founding Titan has the ability to change the physiological nature of the Eldians? I'm not thinking he may stop them from producing children. I think he may reverse what the original Titan did, what Amir did, and stop them from being able to become Titans, which would also mean he would be the last one, and maybe even take himself out, or remove himself, or remove that from himself as well. That way, all Eldians are basically human beings like Marlians. That's kind of what I think, and what y'all thoughts are on that.
I think that's an interesting concept that I never thought of that as a possibility. I never looked at that as an option, and I'm glad I rewatched, like you said, that episode with Zeke's mentor in English dub, because sometimes, man, you look at the sub and you're reading and you're focusing, but you're not catching certain things.
Can't get it all.
And the concept that instead of Eren deciding to say, okay, I'm going to stop them from being able to reproduce, like, no, I'm going to change their code to, well, now they can't be used as weapons anymore. Like, their blood is not something that can be sustainable to make Titans anymore. That even if they get, the spinal fluid added, that they cannot be changed or reverted. Or he could do something worse. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know what Ymir's real power is. Is it only limited to the Eldians, or is it to say that she could possibly control other humans too? Because why has that always been the limitation? Why is it that only the blood of the Eldians that she's been able to control? Like, what if there's a scenario where, like, they could have control of the Marlians or anybody else outside of that, once all the power is gained back? But I think that's a really good option, that he could, change the code to, okay, well, you can reproduce, but any child after this point does not have the blood sustainable to make Titans anymore. That's a best case scenario option. But I do think that there's enough anger in your boy that he still wants some colossal Titans. And like we've seen, every intro always has a gateway into what the season's going to be. And the new intro literally has these colossal Titans that are from the wall walking over and just wrecking house while he's walking through I think he's walking on the walls. And I'm just like, what does that mean? And why would he do it? And I think it goes back to, the start of this. Initially, he was like, I want to kill all Titans. But then it later on changed to, I want to kill the people that started this. And now the lines are just so blurred that it all falls back to the Marlians at the end of the day. So
I don't completely agree with that.
Elaborate.
I don't completely agree with that. I think it really falls back to the Eldians, but I think it's all a circle of violence to which we're actually seeing right now. There clearly for something must have happened within the history, and we don't know what it is yet, but something clearly happened in the history between the Eldians and the Marlians for the Eldians to be, for the Marlians to treat the Eldians the way they do.
But we found out why
something
though.
huh?
They said that in the you remember in the carnival, right? When the Warhammer Titans confidant, the blonde dude, when he was
Mhm.
going through the story, he told the real story that he was kind of telling the commander in the car
Right.
that the Marlians realized the power that Ymir had, and they looked at her as a threat. But she came upon the power,
Mhm.
and they looked at everybody that's associated with her as a threat. And just like any other, peoples, like anybody
Mhm.
that's a little different,
Mhm.
I thought that
Right.
that was what it originally. I
I
think I
I
can't remember.
I get that, but I think it's more to it. There had to have been something that have happened for the Marlians to even consider Amir being a threat. She had to have done something, whether it's getting the Titans and invading on Marley thousands of years ago or what have you, but something happened to initiate this racial prejudice towards the Eldians. Something had to have happened
I don't know,
because
man. History would say different, dog.
history may say different, but my thing is nobody.
Yeah.
Here, history may say different, but my thing is if nobody comes after you, because you got to remember something. Look at it this way: the folks of Paradise knew nothing about Marley. They just knew about these Titans, right?
Mm.
And they hated all these Titans. Now it's come, and the reason why Aaron is the way he is because, well, at the start, which also leads to the great character development of Aaron himself, because he's gone from this wild kid who just wants to kill all the Titans, like you said, to now wanting to eradicate the source of all these issues.
Mhm.
And like Chitty said, he's become this tactician. You know, um, the thing is he got that way because the Titans came and destroyed his own.
Mhm.
So that only leads me to question what happened to the Marlians for the Marlians to have that Aaron type of thought of being prejudiced to all Eldians. Something had to have happened that we haven't seen yet. Because my
But
thing is if you don't come mess with me and I don't even know you exist or you're there, I'm not gonna think like that. Or
what's that?
if you come into my area, right, and you ain't caused me no harm, you passing through or doing whatever, I'm not gonna think twice about you. But if you come into my home and start wrecking shop and destroying stuff, I'm going to retaliate. You are now in my sights, and I am now coming for you. So something must have happened to the Marlians to treat the Eldians this way. And once the Eldians did whatever they did, then I think they saw them as a threat and saw what they could do with the Titans. Because I think that's what happened. I think
So
the Titans went after the Marlians or just went to do conquest. The Marlians fought back and got to a point where they are now. But it's all the start of a cycle of violence that Aaron is trying to take out.
so I'm gonna let Ant talk, but I just want to say the comparison. I've never talked to the author, and I don't know, but this looks like a comparison of the Germans and the Jews,
Yes.
and to me, whatever the Jews possibly could have done, it doesn't. I don't think that there has to be necessarily a direct reason for people to look at a certain people and just want to
View them as a threat.
persecute them.
Mhm.
Like it's literally a historic thing that's always happened. Now it could be that Ymir, at a certain point showcased her power,
Right.
and like it could be that she transformed into a Titan. Like honestly, if a random chick like all of a sudden just turned into like a giant, I would look at her suspect too. But then it goes back to a religious standpoint, which I'm not trying to do that right now. But people looked at Jesus like, whoa, 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 hold on. You can do what? And so I don't know. I really don't know. But I feel like I don't think that's necessarily possibly the case. It could be. And like the writer is good. Like they could really spin it, but it still always goes back to this scene right here that This is I think the first poster for season 4. Eren is looking at her, and it goes back to the same exact picture that I remember of Ymir in the Wasteland. And it's kind of like they're all connected to Ymir, but to what end and why? And I don't really know. But the fact that Ymir would preserve Zeke's life and bring him to the same exact place and preserve his life too, it's a directive. Like there's something here that's trying to be course corrected. And I think that's why Eren is at a level that we can't comprehend. Nor do we see where it's gonna happen. But I do think that he cares because who said it? Who asked that question to Armin? Why would he save him? Why would he put the situation like it is? It felt intentional. Why would he do that? It's almost as though I keep going back to, I think he's seen all this. I think he's seen where this has all got to go and what has to happen. But the show is just so masterful, man. You just don't know. Like everything that Ty's saying could be absolutely true. And we're just thrown through a loop, but then it could be the other way. But I really do love this story, man. Like I love the action. Yes, I love how beautiful the show is, but the simple fact is this man Zeke did some of the most terrible things that you could think of. And we saw a whole episode that we were like, wow, man, I get it. I understand you, dog. I don't like you, but I get you. and I think that's the thing about the show is that except for that dude Enoch, I don't vibe with him. I'd vibe with Zeke before Enoch, but everybody else, I understand their motivation. I understand where they're at. They're clouded, but I love it. I love it, man. So yeah, what do we think's happening next? What's Eren gonna do? Because he put the work on Reina at first, but then I mean, somebody blew Eren's head off. Like his men got like straight up decimated. What's about to happen?
Look, first and foremost, I think we're about to see, like we said, this dude is a clear tactician. So he's a tactician, and what we sometimes put tacticians or put on generals and tacticians, that kind of people, sometimes they sacrifice folk for the greater good. So even though his people got decimated, it might have been to pull those airships to a place. Like again, in the preview for the next episode, we saw something that looked like either nukes flying in the air, or like I was saying, possibly airships on fire, in formation on fire. So there might already be a contingency for the airships, because they knew they had airships already. That's not new information to the to Eren's side. Right. And yeah, just to kind of throw a possibility at the whole situation from before. It's possible that Marley was just trying to, expand. They expanded into the Ymir area in Paradise. The followers of Ymir showed their power and backed them off, and they were like, "Oh, you're a threat." So
yeah, I don't think that's the case. Remember, they told us that the founding Titan went to Paradise Island. It doesn't mean they were from there.
Wait,
I remember that part.
What were we talking about? You talking about Ymir?
Chitty said that the Marleyans probably went over to Paradise Island, saw the Titans and said, "Oh, you're a threat," and backed off. But remember, Paradise Island was basically a punishment for Eldians. That's why Zeke snitched out his parents to prevent the rest of his family from getting in trouble. So I don't think the Marleyans went over to Paradise. I don't think the Titans are originally, or the Eldians are originally from Paradise Island. They may be from somewhere else.
They're from the mainland. I mean, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Like the guy, he told the whole story. Like initially, Ymir came upon the power, and then after that point, the Marleyans looked at that as a threat for whatever the reason, And then it was a back and forth war until the point where Ymir, of course, lost, and then the Eldians were pushed onto the island with the new king that basically made them forget everything. And they were kind of banished there, but then the remaining Eldians, they used them as conduits and as weapons, essentially. But yeah, the war initially started on the mainland. They just got pushed to the island. It's just more of a question, like Ty said, like how and why. I mean, I love what Kenya said. I mean, to be truthful, like most of the time, that's what happened. That's where my thought is. But I also don't know. I also recognize that some people, when they worry or have fear that people are going to look at them a certain kind of way, they get drastic and do things as well. So it could go either way. We could be talking about this for days. We're not gonna go there.
Yeah, we really could. I can't say I agree with the whole Germans and Jews issue, because that was more so, that was for them being different, but not in terms of a power, but more so in terms of physical features. I think it was just the fact that but that, in other words, because they did not look blonde hair, blue eyed Aryan, they decided to do that. There wasn't anything that the Jews honestly had, like, Attack on Titan or something or whatever, that could be a threat to the Germans. I think they just wanted to, like you said, expand, and they were brutalized and locked up because they were different. That's really it. There's a difference between being different because you don't look the same versus being different because you have a potential power to overthrow or take over a spot.
Man, we are going to some dark territory.
Which actually Aaron did show in the beginning of season 4, when he basically wrecked shop on Marley, much like the Titans did to his hometown.
Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna put it like this, because we are black men.
Yes, we are.
There are certain people that possibly look at us as a threat because of the attributes that we have, our pigmentation, and with their perception of us, what it could be. And not to say, but I would look at a certain person slight if I knew their blood could potentially allow them to just devour my whole entire family. I would look at them slightly different too. And
so that's a better example. That is a better example versus the Germans and the Jews. It's based on what we are capable of doing and how we are seen as a threat for the things we do. Yet we are utilized, for example, in sports, in entertainment, for all the things that we can do.
We're going down a really dark road, Ty.
We're going down a really dark. Look,
I'm not gonna do this today.
I gotta say that prejudicial example. Not saying you're being prejudicial, but that example of prejudice is actually much more in line with what we're talking about in my mind versus the Germans and the Jews, and not trying to reduce the Holocaust in any way, because that was just atrocious and tragic. But right here, like, as black men and as we've seen, this is a much better example of that.
Yeah, because I mean, again, like, I know for a fact that yeah. Anyway, I'm not doing this. We are gonna stop this right here.
Just go down the rabbit hole, man. Just go down the rabbit hole with me.
Yeah. Wait, what in the world? Kenya, really, Kenya?
We get out of the.
I agree. Kenya's got it right. Kenya has nailed it.
Yes.
That's why I said your example. I said your example for us as black men is much better example. Kenya has nailed it.
And on that note, we are gonna end
the Marleys have put the Eldians in the sunken place. I stand by it. I quote it.
Oh gosh. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Yes. We will be back next Sunday with more Attack on Titan. Where can everybody follow you guys at? Ty, where can people follow you?
I'm on Instagram at Ty Niddy, TYNIDDY. I also have a car channel, Horsepower Every Day, and also on Instagram at Horsepower Every Day.
Yes, sir.
New YouTube channel coming soon.
Oh,
word.
Okay.
Nice. Let's go. I am Chidi17, CHIDI17 on both Instagram and Twitter. Anywhere you can see Blue Lightning Photography, that is also me on the side. Have been doing it, but I got a lot of stuff out there already.
All right. So we'll be back, guys. Follow these gentlemen because you do not want to miss what's coming up next. We got 15 more episodes to go to the finale of Attack on Titan.
Yes.
Some of you guys were talking about Demon Slayer season 2. We have not. I don't think any of us have watched it yet. Some of you guys have been begging for reviews. I'll talk to these gentlemen and see if they're interested, but we'll see. We'll be back. Peace, people.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.